Piper of Hamelin is one of the most well-known children's stories. Few people realize, however, that this story is based on true events that were then turned into a fairy tale to frighten children. This tale takes place in Hamelin, Germany in 1284. A piper emerged during a period when Hamelin was plagued by rodent infestation. The piper, clad in vibrant colors, claimed to be a rat catcher. He vowed to clear the community of rats in exchange for 500 gold coins. And the townsfolk accepted. Although the piper's melody drove the rats away, the townsfolk declined to pay him when he returned. The fiddler was enraged and swore vengeance. He later returned and played his pipe once more. But this time, he guided the children away from town with his music, never to be seen again. Some children were left behind, according to some accounts of the tale. One was weak and could not keep up. Another was mute and could not hear the music. And another was blind and couldn't see where the other kids were going. The first mention of this tale came from Hamelin itself. It was portrayed in a stained glass window in Hamelin's cathedral around 1300 AD. Although this church was destroyed in 1660, several documents were preserved. The earliest document was the Lueneburg chronicle, which stated that on the 26th of June 1284, a piper clad in brightly colored clothing led 130 children and led them to the execution site near the mountaintop. In 1384, an entry in the Hamelin town archives noted that it had been 100 years since the offsprings had departed. The alleged street where the children were last seen traveling through is today named Bungelosenstrasse, meaning street without drums. There is no music or dancing permitted. Originally, it was claimed that the previous stories did not include rats, and that they were only introduced to the narrative in the middle of the 16th century. Furthermore, no rodent invasion was depicted in the church's stained glass display. If the children's abduction was not motivated by vengeance, what prompted the Pied Piper's actions? There were several hypotheses as to why the children of Hamelin vanished. According to one hypothesis, the children perished of natural causes, and the Pied Piper was simply a personification of death. Because rats have been connected to the Black Death, it is possible that the children perished as a consequence of the epidemic. However, the Black Plague was at its worst in the year 1348 to 1350, more than 50 years after the horrors of Hamelin. Another hypothesis claimed that the children were sent away by their own parents due to their severe poverty. Another hypothesis proposed that the children were part of a doomed children's crusade and wound up in modern-day Romania. Another theory suggests that the Hamelin incident was related to the Aussie Lung, in which a number of Germans abandoned their houses to colonize Eastern Europe. According to Wipke Reimer, project supervisor at the Hamelin Museum, the Pied Piper served as a locator or recruiter in the Aussie Lung situation. A locator was in charge of immigration to the east, and typically dressed brightly and played an instrument to draw the attention of potential immigrants. Another idea was dance mania, also known as St. Vitus dance, in which people dance hysterically through the streets for hours, days, or even months until they fell and perished from exhaustion, heart attack, or stroke. This affliction seized continental Europe between the 14th and 17th century. Another, darker idea held that the Pied Piper was a pedophile who sneaked into Hamelin and kidnapped children while they were sleeping. Without any tangible evidence to support any of the hypotheses, One might speculate that the disappearance of the children was so heinous that few records were kept about the actual details of what occurred. Perhaps they experienced something so traumatic that it was passed down verbally through generations of the community over decades, if not centuries. According to historical documents, the Piper of Hamelin story was based on a true incident. Despite the fact that the riddle of what happened to the children was never answered, this would undoubtedly frighten parents because it suggested the existence of an unknown force in the town, and that this unknown force had once abducted the town's children for good.